Hello everyone, thanks for checking out this sound demo of Attack Drumheads. I will talk about the heads and the drums that I'm using afterwards, but I know why you're here. You want to get right to the playing so you can hear what these sound like. So, one caveat, I am in my drum room and I have various snares around my drum room, as drum rooms do. I can't muffle all of them, so you're going to hear some ancillary snare rattling from snares that are off camera. But that'll be realistic because your snares are going to rattle when you play the toms too. But I will turn these snares off and I'll play the drums individually and then all together so you can hear what they sound like. And again, afterwards I will talk about the drums, heads that I'm using, etc. But let's get right to the playing. Alright, so these are Attack Drumheads. Attack, I'm a fan. They're probably the least known of the big four, shall we say, drumhead manufacturers, that being Remo, Evans, Aquarian, and Attack. Attack heads, just to give you a little background on them, they are made a little differently than Remo and their competitors. They're made like the Ludwig Weathermaster heads, both that, like to come on the Superphonics and stuff today, and the old Ludwig Weathermaster heads too. And the fact that Attack uses crimping, they use a crimp versus glue to keep the head, attached to the flesh hoop, the metal hoop. They use crimping instead of glue. So, and that's the way the old Ludwig heads were made, and I believe the Ludwig heads today that you can buy are made that way as well. and they're the only ones that do it other than Ludwig. And one interesting thing about that is I find that normally if you're using a Remo, Evans, or Aquarian, when you're tuning it up, you hear the Rice Krispies snap, crackle, pop, making all kinds of weird noises. You don't get that with Attack. You don't get any noise when you're tuning up a head for the first time. The other thing that's different about Attack, I'm not sure if Ludwig does this or not, but Attack for the flesh hoop, the actual hoop, they use steel. Remo, Aquarian, Evans use aluminum. Attack uses steel, so it's a little bit heavier. And I find that little bit extra weight, it helps the drums tune up faster, and they stay in tune. A lot of times, and nothing against Remo, I'm a Remo fan too, but a lot of times, for Remo, I'll be like, I'll sit down to play, I'll be like, this one needs tweaked a little bit, or this one's a little bit loose here. With Attack, I have my key out, and I hardly ever need to use it. They stay in tune. I find that they are easier to tune up right away, and they stay in tune. And I would say overall, they maybe are a little tiny bit more open and a little more resonant than, say, Remo or Evans would be. But definitely a pro quality head, and especially if you like the old Ludwig heads or the current Ludwig Weathermaster heads, you should definitely check these out because they're made the same way and they have a little bit lower profile as well. So let me get into, first of all, the heads that I'm using here. On the rack toms, and this is for like a general kind of rock or contemporary tuning. So the rack toms, I have coated Proflex 1 top and bottom. That is a single ply 10 mil head equivalent to an Ambassador or G1. So nice open sounds. I have them tuned probably medium low, I would say. Nice and open, good clarity on the stick attack. So both heads tuned to about the same pitch. They might be slightly different, but both heads pretty close to the same pitch, top and bottom. The floor toms, I'm normally a single ply guy, so this is kind of a new thing for me, but this is, on tops are the coated Attack Thin Skin 2. It's a 2-ply head, but I believe, and somebody can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe it is the thinnest 2-ply head on the market you can buy. It's a 7 mil ply and a 5 mil ply. Most of the other 2-ply heads, like an Emperor or G2, are 2 7 mil plies. This is a 7 mil and a 5 mil. So I believe that these are the thinnest 2-ply heads that you can get. So I've got thin skin 2 coateds on top, and on the bottoms I just have coated Proflex 1s, just the 10 mils single ply. So normally for like a rock context or a contemporary context, I'll use Remo coated Power Stroke 3s, top and bottom. It's kind of unusual maybe to use one on the bottom. I use it because it's a little more controlled and it lowers the pitch. Having that muffling ring that a Power Stroke 3 does lowers the pitch as well as control the sustain. So it's easier to get a lower note out of your floor toms. So these floor toms to me sound good. I can tell you that I'm used to wide open drums, and these are a little more controlled than I'm used to. I like these and they sound good. I can tell you I wouldn't want them to be any more controlled or have any less sustain than this. But I think, especially microphones in a studio or a live situation where you're close mic'd, I think microphones will really like these drums. Nice fat sound, but they go away pretty quick. For the snare drum, I'm just using a Proflex 1 and a Proflex 1 thin, which would be like the equivalent of an Ambassador snare side thin. I have the bottom head pretty tight. Top head is probably medium tight. Medium to medium tight. Very wide open, as you can tell. Microphone probably wouldn't like that, but I like it. And I don't have any microphones right now except for that one. I should mention on the floor toms, they are tuned very low, and the bottom head is also tuned a little bit low. They're not really the same pitch because it's a 2-ply head versus a 1-ply head, but they're both tuned definitely low, both heads. bass drum head I'm using, I'll get some video of this a little later. This is the new Attack Orbit head. It's been out for maybe a year or two. It is a 2-ply head, and it's got the underneath ply has orbs or circles cut out. So the top ply is clear and it's solid. The under ply, the inner ply, is white with the holes cut out of it. And on the front head, I'm using a Proflex 1 coated no overtone, which is the equivalent of a Remo Power Stroke 3 bass drum, single ply with a muffling ring. So bass drum, very tight, very punchy. It's too controlled for my taste. It has too. I like a little bit of. I like controlled bass drum, but I like a little sustain. This is very, very, very controlled. In fact, most of the ring you're hearing is from the tom. So let me do this. Very fat, very punchy. Again, it's a little too controlled for me, but again, in a studio situation or live where you're being close mic'd, this is a very microphone-friendly bass drum that's gonna sound really good through like a house PA or through headphones. So I purposely only had hi-hats here just to highlight the drums and playing of the drums, just to give you a sampling of what they sound like. But Attack heads, if you're not familiar with them, definitely check them out. One advantage to them is that they are quite a bit cheaper than their competitors, so you can experiment with Attack on a more cost-effective basis than you can with Remo or Aquarian. And just to tell you a little bit about these drums, these are Sonor Force 3007 drums. They're all maple shells. They're not made anymore, but they were considered a I would say consider they were a midline kit. They are, I believe, either 6 or 8 ply maple, and I know the two innermost and outermost plies are Canadian maple, and then the inside plies that you can't see, the sandwich of all the plies, is Asian maple, but the inner and outer plies are Canadian maple. They're very well made drums, very well built, all maple shells, and they sound great. So sizes real quick: 10 by 8, 12 by 9, and then square floor toms, 14 by 14, 16 by 16. Snare drum is a 5.5 by 14 head, and the bass drum is a 22 by 17.5 deep. Yes, it is 17.5. Sonor did that on purpose. So I'll get a quick shot here of the Orbit bass drum head, which has a unique look, so you can check that out before the video ends. And there is the Orbit bass drum head. As you can see, it looks like Swiss cheese. Again, it's a 2-ply head, 2 7mm ply, so pretty standard. The outer ply is solid and clear. The underneath ply is white and has the cutouts. Let me know in the comments what you think, and thanks for watching this video.